subscribe. Okay, so on one of my previous videos, I was going over the immolation arrow boson that was also using Multishot. I've done a couple changes since then. Been doing a lot of experimenting with specifically a poison boson. I wound up getting my hands on a bunch more of these 100 poison damage charms. Some of them a little bit better. I think I got one that's like 175, but majority of them are 100 poison damage. I think 175 is probably the ideal for the poison damage because it's 175 over 6 seconds. Another thing to keep in mind is when you're shooting the enemies and they get hit with that poison damage, when you hit them again with another arrow, that interrupts that poison. So the poison's more of a utility type of thing. For just hitting the crowds, you maybe run around cows, and instead of just standing perfectly still, after you shoot one pack, you move on to the next and let the poison whittle them down a little bit, rather than just spamming arrows. And you can spam arrows as well. But I think that like these are poison immune, so those aren't really ideal. But as you can see, like I could just spam them down and get them out of here way quicker. But the cool thing about the poison is if I want to play a more laid-back play style and kind of rely on my mercenary more, I can do that with this because of the poison. One thing everybody's always getting on to me about not using hotkeys for certain things. As you can see, I do use hotkeys. I just don't use them for like battle orders and stuff like that. I mean, I guess I could. Everybody's like, put this on F1, put this on this. I mean, this is my keyboard right here. Like I can't, in order to press F1, I have to hold down, I have to hold this key in addition to pressing like all the way up here. So I have to press a little key at the bottom of my keyboard in order to even press F1. So that's not going to be doable. And all of my hotkeys usually for my characters are mapped in a certain way where like I use the E key, I use the D key, I use the Q key. I guess I could use the A key for something instead of my character screen. So I guess that could be something I could make a hotkey. But I mean, casting battle command and battle orders, if it's such a big deal to click the S button and then click on those, then I mean, I might dare to call you lazy. But I mean, to each his own. So here, let me go over all the stats and everything. These, I got 80 to poison skill damage. If I wanted to, I could put a monarch with 4 facets in it and then death's web on swap. But the poison damage with it being, I find that I get more benefit from having call to arms. And the poison damage, since it's kind of like a supplementary thing as opposed to being the main damage. Because I mean, we get pretty good multi-shot physical damage, pretty good cold damage. So I think that it's just kind of like a neat little quirk to have the poison in there. I'll show you what this looks like inside of cows, and then I'll show it in chaos as well. Here's the mercenary though, Azarath, Fortitude, Death. This Death's really going to help out when we get against bosses, because even though I do have guided arrow and it hits for a decent amount of damage, having crushing blow on my mercenary helps a lot with bosses. And then this Fortitude gives him a nice little bump of damage. I mean, just even like if you look at the minimum damage, the way the minimum damage jumps up, it makes a good little difference. So I got that. So this character basically can run, I can go anywhere in the game with this character, definitely. It's definitely not meta. I would say probably the most meta boson's probably still physical, like pure physical. And then you just be spamming your arrows as opposed to playing more patient. But even like here, watch it. I can hit like Rakanishu or these guys, and they're all going to go down from that poison pretty much right away. Which is a good, I didn't mean to do that. Which is a good thing because I need to make better CTA. I have the runes to make it. I thought I had a base that I saved. Because I need like one more CTA so that I have one on all of my characters and don't have to swap gear around. As much as I don't mind swapping gear around, sometimes it is a pain in the ass. Let me show my gear as well. Faith, Trangs, and Bramble for the just that poison boost. Giant Skull for the knockback, the strength. I put 2 poison facets in it. Could have gotten a little bit better poison facets, but it's all good. Atmos, amp damage is going to help if I want to get spammy with the arrows. It definitely helps. It also gives a little bit of poison damage, which is like not very much, but little variety, having some 6-second poison damage charms, some 5 seconds ones, some, you know, just a little variety. And then let's see, let's get to the cows. Feel like I'm getting a little bit rambly here, but at the same time want to make sure that I cover everything in terms of the build. See, I mean, we get pretty decent mana leech from the ring whenever we hit them with that physical damage. Get in here. Show chaos, and then cows, and then I'll cut to some chaos. I pretty much would run this character anywhere except for Worldstone, just because the boss clearing is a little bit slower than other characters. I would say Boazons have just always been more of crowd control. But see how I've kind of hit these guys a little bit here and there, rather than standing here and spamming them down, which possibly even is faster, arguably. I can play this kind of more slow-paced, laid-back play style. One downside to this, though, can be that I could miss drops that could be off screen because my arrows are going to be piercing through everything, so there's no telling what I might hit that I might miss out on. So not really a bad idea to just stand here and just take out the crowd before I move on, rather than running laps around the map. But I mean, you can play the character however you want, really. Just keep in mind every time I shoot another arrow that their poison damage is getting interrupted, or anytime that they get hit with any other source of damage by these skeletons, by him. But I do kind of like the idea of having the skeletons and stuff to kind of shield me from the enemies getting close. That, combined with the knockback from the helmet, helps a little bit. Overall, Boazon is not going to be like your max speed farming type of build. But I just like playing on different stuff. I mean, I'm kind of person who will try pretty much every build possible. If it's able to be viable, I'll probably give it a try, as long as it's fun. I mean, I don't really care to try boring builds that are like too easy or broken, and I don't really care to try ones that are like tedious to the point of not being fun. But sometimes you do need those builds, those hammered ends or blizzard sorceresses, certain necromancers or whatever, just to be able to farm really efficiently, get your good gear, so you can even have the luxury of being able to experiment with shit. Try different builds out, because if you want to try different builds out on Battle.net, you're going to have to do some farming or some trading. So let me go ahead and take this into Chaos now. Just to... Let me get the Cow King out of here, and then I'll take this in Chaos. Let me just spam these guys down rather than being all innovative. Let me be efficient. Okay. Oh damn, I didn't get to Scroll of Town portal. Looks like we're going to be leaving this lobby. I mean, this match. Leaving this game. So I mean, I'm having fun with this character. I think I'm going to continue to build it up. I might eventually just go back to running the swap Death's Web setup with the Titans with the Poison Javelin, because Poison Javelin does do a lot better than this. I just wanted to try something a little bit more niche, whatever you want to call it. Something a little bit more unique, a little bit less cookie cutter, and I'd say that it works. I would definitely say that they could do something maybe to the way that poison damage works. I don't know if they could do that without drastically messing up the balance of the game or something. But I definitely think that there could maybe be a way. They could maybe make some type of synergy where you could use points into your poison javelin skill tree where it could help with your arrows or something. They could do something cool that could add a little variety. This is like an area where I like being like a barbarian or a teleport character so much more, because I hate having to fight these trash mobs that are just on the way. A lot of these guys have pretty high poison resistance from what I remember. Already have a slow attack rate, slow attack speed. Because my whole thinking with this is that when I do play this character, this isn't going to be like my character I play all the time. But when I do play it, I want to kind of be able to casually stroll through the level rather than feel like I need to just rain arrows down like how I normally would with the physical bows on with like max IAS breakpoint or whatever. I didn't pay attention to IAS breakpoints on this build purposely so that I could take as much advantage of the poison as possible, which probably results in a slower clear speed overall. But at the same time, I mean, I'm trying to play the poison to the best of its mechanics or whatever. But I just think poison for the bow probably just isn't ideal completely. But at the same time, it's not useless. So I don't know. I'm one of those persons who goes through a token every couple days or something and respecs my characters a whole bunch of times. I can never really make up my mind with what I want to do. And once again, like you can see, it's got pretty decent killing power and everything, and I'm not like, what's it called though? Decrep really fucks this one up in here with the already super slow shots. I'll get a little bit more spammy with my arrows whenever I see my merc looking like he's in a little bit of trouble. But I mean, just like how the poison jab is on, is kind of like a more laid back kind of play style. That's the same thing with this. I mean, is it viable on high players counts? Probably not. Would they be able to balance it without making it overpowered? Potentially. I don't know completely exactly how, but I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. What would you think would be a good way to balance it? Got something in my eye. I think it was just rust. Rust. Those guys have pretty good poison res, so I'm just gonna get the rest of these guys out of here. I mean, look. Just freezes them in place. So I could use freezing arrow against the boss, or I could use guided arrow. I'm gonna try guided arrow. I've usually been using freezing arrow recently. Try ice arrow. See, it's the, what's it called? It's that attack rating, I think. Oh shit. So I mean, as you can see, it's more of a novelty build. It's more of a, one could maybe even say a meme build, but at the same time, here it is. Here's the gear. Again, just mouse over it real quick. So that's that. And then here's the mercenary. Here's my skill tree. Enough pierce and penetrate. I probably could have put more points into penetrate for some extra AR, but at the same time, wanted to make sure to max out multi-shot just to get the poison on as many enemies as possible. Maxed out guided arrow for the stronger physical damage on multi-shot. Then I maxed freezing arrow and its synergies. Then I maxed these two. I probably could have put less into ice arrow, but at the same time, I hadn't tried them out and I wanted to give them all a try. But I would definitely say that freezing arrow is the one that's the best out of those, and then the physical tree right here has some really good stuff. But let me know what you guys think. Would you actually play this build? Is this build a waste of an Amazon and it might as well just be a lightning Javazon or something better? Let me know what you guys think, and everybody have a great day. I'll catch you on the next one, and be sure to subscribe if you watched all this way through. If you watched all this way through and you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Subscribe.